Welcome back to Find Love or Die Trying. Click. Don't say I didn't warn you. The same wall split into two doors, slowly revealing another hidden staircase. You think you guys could get an elevator instead? I said the same thing! As soon as I took one step down the staircase, I could tell something was different. Something was telling me that I shouldn't go down there. Come on, we don't have time to waste. I've got nothing to lose. With each step down, it grew darker and darker. Eventually, I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. Then, light. Blinding light, and... applause? Welcome, welcome, you finally made it! Damien's face was plastered over countless screens in a stadium that could fill tens of thousands of people. Countless cameras littered the seats, all focused on center stage, a battleground sprawling with maze-like walls of all shapes and sizes, and littered with guns. Thanks to the walls, we couldn't see Damien directly, but we knew he was here from the screen. We wouldn't have a show without you, idiot, so I'm glad you actually came back. Aw man, you couldn't even bring back the others. You're no fun. You really gotta make me work, huh? Anyway, congrats on making it this far, etc., etc. Gotta say, I'm proud of you for making it. I'm proud of you for making it, you daughter of mine. I'm impressed you remember your old haunt in just a few seconds of video. No thanks to you, you dirtbag. Is that anyway to thank someone who gives you room and board? You gave Artemis a way nicer room than I ever got. Blame your mom for that, kid. Anyway, how about you be a dear and explain the game we've got going on here? The switch we're looking for is somewhere here. The problem is, so is Damien, and he's got a gun, and more ammunition than he needs to kill both of us. What about the weapons on the ground? Maybe there's something we can use to level the playing field. It's all we can do, but the odds aren't in our favor. Most of the weapons lying around are useless. They're meant to make people lose hope that they can fight back. Most is better than all of them. Well, yes and no. There's no hope to lose if they knew all of them were fake. That's Damien's MO. So give the people trapped on his show just enough hope for an escape, and he'll use that to trap them. Real guns among the fakes. Boats and planes when you're trapped on an island. If we're going to make it through this, you can't fall for his game. Understand? Loud and clear. Then let's go. There's no time to waste. We ran from wall to wall, taking cover between each time. Whenever we had the chance, we'd pick up what looked like a gun and see if it was real. We only had seconds to check for each one. Damien was hot on our trail. A gunshot rang out, blowing a hole through the wall behind me. Blowing a hole through the wall Cat and I were hiding behind. What's the matter? You're like two rats in a lab. He fired again. Shrapnel from the wall scraped my arm. Frick! It was like my arm had been lit on fire. Artemis, you okay? I'll live. Don't worry. We need to find a weapon. And we need to find the switch. We ran behind another wall, narrowly dodging another shot from Damien. It dawned on me that he wasn't even trying to hit us. He was trying to make us scared. And it was working. But why? He's reloading. Come on! We dashed up, bumped into a wall, and ran past Damien, looking desperately for the switch and for any weapons we could find. I managed to pick up 2 pistols. Cat did the same. Dang, looks like they're fake too. How's yours looking? I took a look at the first one. Upon further inspection, it was clear that it was no more than a plastic toy. But the second one, Cat realized it was the same second I did. It was real, with a single bullet. Alright, that's good. Let's... Another 2 shots rang out, blowing a hole in the wall, just next to where my head was a second ago. Frick! How come he gets that frickin' hand cannon? The budget's gotta go somewhere, I guess. Anyway, we've got the gun. That's probably the only real one in the stadium. We need to find the switch now. Even with a gun, we're no match for them. Sounds good to me. We ran further through the stadium, opposite the entrance, until we were square in the middle of the stadium. And there it was. The switch! You'd think they'd have hit it better. Damien's laughter echoed through the arena as he reappeared on the screens above the arena. Congrats, you found the switch! It's a dang shame. I forgot to mention something about this switch here. It won't do anything, even if you both have access. As long as I've got a heartbeat. And I plan on sticking around. But I'm not heartless. In fact, I think I'm a pretty decent guy for what I'm about to do. Cat looked like she had just seen a ghost. Cat, Artemis, I've got an offer you can't refuse, but only one of you can claim it. If either of you kills the other one, I'll let the one left standing go. We'll forget this ever happened and call it a wrap on Find Love or Die Trying. I'll even let the survivor leave the island. I can even guarantee I'm telling the truth, because this is airing live to the world right now. People bow down and get in line because I tell them the truth, because they know I keep my word. They wouldn't believe me for a second if I ever went back on it, you know? Not a bad deal, huh? especially considering that if no one takes that offer, I'll just kill both of you. I'm giving you 5 minutes to decide. Then I'm coming for you. The screen shut off. Kat and I looked at each other, a mix of horror and fear on her face, and there was no doubt mine mirrored hers. Artemis, I can't imagine what's racing through your head now. You probably think I'm going to betray you again, right? I was at a loss for words. You don't have to say anything. Look, I can't blame you for doubting me. And honestly, if you just shot me right now, I'd be okay with it. Because then, you'd be free to go. I know Damien will keep his word. But if there's even the slightest chance that you want me to be able to escape from here too, then I need to ask you something that I know sounds insane. What's that? I need you to give me the gun. The only real one we've got. Look, I'm not stupid enough to not know how that sounds. The simple reality is, I've known you for so long now, and the one thing I know about you is that you're a terrible shot. Me? I'm as good as you can get on this island. I think I'm our best bet to taking him down. But I understand completely if you're not willing to trust me. If you think I'm lying, I get it. And if you don't trust me... She closed her eyes and pressed her finger against her forehead. Then please, just make it quick. The gun in my hands never felt so heavy. On one hand, a guarantee that I can make it out of here alive. On the other, trusting Kat. Can I trust Kat after all that she's done to me? Can I really believe her words when the memories that can prove or deny them are lost to me? I've got no time. I have to choose. I've trusted her this far, and it hasn't... But she did... I mean, if I game over, I game over. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save real quick. Yup, just overwrite it, it's fine. Trust? I trust you, Kat. I held out the gun to her. You do? After everything I've done? After everything you've done, yes, I still trust you. I know you've been forced to do some awful things to people that didn't deserve it, but I know there's good in you, and I believe in that good. Take it. Thank you, Artemis. She took the gun from my hands. I won't let you down. Well, if you do, it's not like I'd be around long enough to regret it. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's do this. We decided to seek Damien out and try to get the drop on him, rather than waiting for him at the switch. My heart was practically beating out of my chest. I couldn't tell if Kat was as nervous as I was. If she was, she did it with the same poker face she always had. We dashed to another wall for cover, looked around, and repeated. How much time has passed? It feels like we've been looking for him for hours with the pressure, though I know it can't be more than a few minutes. As the minutes passed by, I could tell Kat was growing more and more impatient. She trained her gun wherever she looked, her trigger finger ready to shoot our only bullet at any time. Left, right. I glanced around and looked at her and back again. Her hands were shaking. Look left, look right. We've only got one shot to make or break it. Look back to Kat. She's checking a corner ahead for us. She looks left, she looks right. It takes everything I have to stay focused. Don't think about dying, not even the possibility. She turns to look back at me. Oh no. Damien's walking closer and closer from behind her, with his gun resting on his shoulder. He can't be more than 10 meters away. He slowly lifts the gun off from its resting position. Before I know it, I'm running towards her with everything I have. Something is making me run. Something I've forgotten. Something I'm just starting to remember. It's the two of us at the beach. I can see it now. How many hours has it been? We made it to the ship, but it wasn't enough. The alarms were deafening. Security was going to be here any minute. And our only saving grace, our ship, wouldn't start. That's it then. I'd never heard Kat ever sound so desperate. Well, at least we tried, right? Who else could say that? She lowered her head and leaned on me. No, we're not giving up just yet. There's nothing we can do, Artemis. The engine's broken and the guards will be here any minute. We've got at least some weapons. It's not over yet. I grabbed the precious few firearms we had and split them between us. There's 2 of us, and hundreds of them. There's no point. Not to mention, you're a terrible shot. You're right, taking them head on would be suicide. But that's not what you'll be doing. Me, I'm just some nobody. But you're the big man's daughter after all. Your word means a lot to them. She was horrified. I would be too if I were in her shoes right now. No, I won't let you do this, Artemis. We don't have a choice. Look around. Look, I'm not happy either. But us both dying here would be worthless. But if you live, you get a second chance to make it out of here. A second chance to see the other side. I know, but what's the point if it's not with you? You'll have to find that out yourself. They're almost here. Come on. We're running out of time. Her hands were shaking. It looked like she was going to drop her gun any second. I hate you for this, you know? I know. And I'm sorry. She slowly raised her arms and trained the gun's sights directly at me. And now, we wait. Can you do me a favor? What's that? Don't shoot the face, please. I'm rather proud of it. I don't know what I'd do without my supernaturally good looks. She laughed through the tears. I would have still loved you, even without them. Right back at you, Cat. She kissed me for the last time. I love you, Artemis. I love you too. Sorry, but it's gonna be the face. Let me just take off the safety. Wait, I didn't sign up for this. I heard my favorite sound one last time. I could hear the guards coming now. We've only seconds left. On the bright side, I won't owe you $10. Our bet? She laughed. I think it's pretty clear who won the bet. I can see the guards now. My time is up. What makes you say... You did it. I'm alive? Everything hurts so bad I almost wish I wasn't. The shock must have knocked me out cold. I coughed up blood as my vision flashed in and out repeatedly. Too fast to tell if I'd been fatally shot. It was all I could do to try and stay conscious. It's as you said, Father. Anyone who breaks our law must be punished. I could just barely make out her voice, but it brought comfort to me. You really do take after me. You've made your old man very, very proud. Oh, will you look at that? Looks like our little hero's got some life left. You know, Artemis, you're in luck. See, the whole escaping thing. I'm afraid I'm going to have to fire. No severance. I tried to make a witty comment back, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was puffed up blood. But you're in luck. A new opportunity's just opened up, and I think... He kicked me in the stomach, then rolled me over with his foot. You'd be the perfect fit. He laughed as he crushed my palm under his foot. You might think I'm going soft. We're not killing you outright. He looked down at me, then back at her. Mark my words. You'll both wish I had. Do whatever you want. I don't care about Artemis anymore. He laughed maniacally. I never did like Artemis much anyway. My vision's fading. His words turned to vapor as I could feel myself crumple into nothing. The last thing I saw was her face. She was holding the river back with everything she had. Who are you gonna fool with a poker face like that? Cat. I love you. Always have. Always will. I'm so sorry for what I've forced you to do. Even more so, I'm so sorry that you'll be alone now. But I hope one day you'll understand. Flashback to reality. I've almost reached Kat. I push myself to run faster and faster. Faster than I've ever ran in my life. Kat doesn't see him, but she sees the alarm going off in my eyes. Damien points his gun at his daughter. He's preparing to take the shot. Kat starts to turn around, but there's no time. Damien's finger pulls back on the trigger. What am I doing? I see the world turn to slow motion. Why am I throwing away my life? For Kat? These memories, they're mine, yet not at the same time. Who can say if I'm the same person as before, who loved her so much? Who can say if these memories form a completely different me compared to what I am now? There's no time for answers, even if I've forgotten you over and over. Somehow, I remember you, and I know that I would do anything for you. I run past Kat and throw myself in front of her, because I love her. A gunshot rings out. It's like my body is struck by lightning and sent flaming. He fires again and again. Undescribable pain ripples across my body as shot after shot rips through. It's not like the movies where someone can stand after being shot over and over. The firing stops and my vision starts to fade. I can barely hear him reloading over the sound of my body screaming in agony. My knees buckle. I start to fall. As I fall, I can see Kat with her gun trained on Damien. There's no fear in her eyes. Her hands aren't shaking, but she's biting her lip so hard I can see it bleeding. The last thing I see before the dark takes me is her finger pressing down on the trigger. Wake up, Artemis. Please, please don't die. What's happening? Am I alive? I'd never heard her sound so desperate. Please, just wake up! I can't lose you again, not again! It took everything I had just to open my eyes and breathe. Kat was cradling me in her arms with tears streaming down her face. Thank God. Don't pass out again. You almost gave me a heart attack. Sorry, Kat. I coughed up blood. Save your strength. Did you get him? We did. That's great. The switch? You should be able to get it now, but you're in no shape to walk. And to be honest, I'm not in the best shape either. I looked up at her and felt my heart drop. You've been shot. She laughed. Yeah, now that I know what it feels like. I'm even more sorry for shooting you back on the beach. There was nothing else you could have done, Kat. That didn't stop me from regretting it every second of these past 2 years. That day I made a promise to myself. It didn't matter how many people I'd have to hurt or how much I would have to hurt. I would get you off this island, alive and well, even if it was the last thing I did. Even if I had to see you fall in love with somebody else 100 times. Even if I knew it meant I could never be with you again. I made a promise back then, and I'll keep it even if it kills me. Slowly, Kat tried to lift me from off the ground and onto her back. She screamed and coughed up blood as she tried to lift me up. Stop! You're gonna get yourself killed. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. She lifted me onto her back and took one step back towards the switch. I told myself back then. She stepped forward again. Her legs were trembling. That if you weren't leaving this island alive, neither would I. Another step closer. Because I love you, you know? One more step. I know you don't remember most of our time together. Her breath was getting ragged. She'd take several steps, then have to pause for breath. Honestly, I'm glad you even remember bits and pieces. I'm grateful for whatever I can get. The switch is in sight. And maybe the you I fell in love with doesn't even exist anymore. We're so close to it, yet so far. But I'd like to believe it's still you, Artemis. That you're still the same Artemis that I fell in love with. We were just steps away from the switch. That I'm still the one you love. She laughed bitterly. It's just wishful thinking, I know. We're here. We made it. You just... She coughed up blood again. Need to put your hand on the scanner. Can you do that? Got it. I used the last of my strength to reach my hand forward. With every inch I drew closer to it, my vision grew darker. I pushed harder and harder, with everything I had. Got it. My turn. Done. All that's left is to pull the switch. Sorry, Artemis. I'm gonna have to put you down for a second. No problem. Kat gently rested me on the ground. Frick. I can barely stand now. She tumbled towards the switch. She managed to catch it with her hands and used it to keep herself upright. Here we go. The moment we'd all been waiting for. She pulled it with the last of her strength. A second later, she fell to the ground by my side. The cacophony of machinery filled the stadium. That must be the barrier opening. We did it, Artemis. I'm sorry, Artemis. What for? I don't think we're getting out of here after all. I can't even move. It's okay. We had a good run, you know. I guess you could say that. At least the girls will be able to get out of here. They deserve better than to die here. Yeah. I love you, Artemis. Always have and always will. For these last 2 years, I dreamed of us starting a new life together, somewhere far from here. But I guess life's not like the movies. Dreams don't come true. I wish we could have met in a different place, a different time. Maybe, just maybe then, Artemis, we... Kat? Kat? Her eyes were closed. Streams of tears ran down from both her eyes. My vision blurred even more as tears welled up in my eyes. If we could have met in a different place, in a different time, I'm sure our story would have been so different. I wish we could have, Kat. I tried to move closer to her, but my body refused. It was all I could do to move my head around. I looked around in futility for some kind of miracle that could save us both. This is too sad an ending. I looked to Cat. I looked to the heavens, which had all but abandoned us. I looked behind us, and I saw what could only be described as angels. I tried to speak, but no words would come out. I must be dreaming. The world turned to black. Am I dead? If I keep asking myself that, it's bound to be right sooner or later. But somehow, I think there's more to come in my story. And I know that there's one person I want to spend the rest of it with. I love you. Okay, honestly, all of them are great people. Every single one of these characters I really do wholeheartedly love. However, there is, and only can be, one canon correct choice for me here. And that's exactly who I started with. Cat. I woke up in an unfamiliar room. Is the room shaking? I tried to get up. Oh, frick! I looked down to my body. I'd been bandaged up enough to look like a mummy. But I'm alive. Artemis! You're up! Hey, Yui. Where are we? We're on a boat. We're on the boat. We're miles away from the island by now. That's a relief. Everyone's okay? I'll let you be the judge of that. Yui ran off, then came back a few moments later. You had us worried, Artemis. I'm so glad to see you're alright. You didn't make it easy to save you either. Oh, and if you find yourself craving brains or bananas, that's entirely unrelated to how I treated you. I'm just thankful it worked. It's so good to see you safe and sound, Artemis. If you died after all we've been through, I'd kill you. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say that too. You did great, Artemis. The Resistance could use somebody like you. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore, huh? Thanks, guys. You really stuck your neck out to save Kat and I could never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us, Artemis. Indeed, we ran after you two just moments after you'd left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't with you, Artemis. Yeah, I know Kat said not to, but hey, I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. We managed to save the Brothers 5, too. I couldn't just let them be stranded after all. Well, all that we've been through together. I'm glad to hear that. There's no way we could have escaped without them. I nervously looked around the room. Is Kat? Kat's doing well, too. She's resting in the room next door. She didn't think you wanted to see her. I see. Thanks for letting me know, Yui. I should be thanking you. None of us would have made it off the island if it wasn't for you and Kat. It's true, despite whatever you may hear Terra say. I'm just saying, I have a pretty mean right hook. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea what the world ahead has for each of us, but whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet! I'm surprised you could say that with a straight face, but yes, I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for the Resistance, Artemis. You've got a thing for speeches. Wait a minute, if everyone's here and Kat's next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looked at Terra. And that's the series exit for Terra Bite. She ran off like a cartoon character. We laughed together. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras, no fear, just friends fooling around. Anyway, it's so good to see you okay. That said, team, we need to give Artemis some time to rest. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use the zombie virus's unique properties to save you. Thanks, Scarlet. And thank you, everybody, for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together and all that, right? See you later, Artemis. Alright, enough with the cheese. Get out before Artemis needs rest? Yes. And with that, I was alone. Ooh, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlet, what's up? Nothing, I just... She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for... good luck. Right. I put my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just wanted to say, thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island, even before the show. That's putting it lightly. She laughed. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you again, Artemis. You've been out, so there's no way you'd know, but today's the day that would have been the last day of the show. The final ceremony where you ask one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think everyone wants to hear an answer from you. The kind of decision takes some time to think over, so I figured you'd need a little space. Thanks, Scarlet. You're right. It's my pleasure. She kissed me on the cheek. Well, I'll see you later. See you, Scarlet. And then I was alone in the room. It's a tough choice, but it's one I know I have to make. They're all such incredible people. They are, it's true. I'd be lucky to be with any of them. Anyone would. I sat in silence for a time, both resting and contemplating what to do. Is it a life of excitement with Allie? A life of rediscovery with Scarlet? A life enjoying the simple things with Yui? A life challenging our limits with Violet? A life of freedom with Tara? And then, I just knew. I got up from the bed. I walked to the door of my room and looked for the room next to mine. There. I looked through the window, and I just knew. I opened the door. Hey. Hey, Artemis. You look like hell. You don't look much better. I'm surprised your face is intact. It's survived a lot now, hasn't it? Yeah. You know, the girls are hoping I'll ask one of them out today. They'll get the wrong idea if they see you here. I came here for you, Kat. And only you. You've been there for me, from even before I can remember meeting you. There's no way I could have ever gotten off this island, or anyone else could have if it wasn't for you. And I know that there's so much we have to figure out, so much we don't know in this world. But I know I want to face that world with you. Kat. Tears were streaming down her face. I didn't want to hope for it. I walked next to her and got down on one knee. I tried so hard to convince myself that it would never happen because it was too painful to even hope. I don't have a ring or anything, but I'm sure I can get one later. You don't need a ring. Will you marry me? Yes. Yes, yes! I love you, Kat. I love you too, Artemis. More than you could ever know. Wherever life takes you is where I'll go. We held each other close and kissed for the first time in years. Memories flooded back with each passing moment. The day we met, our first kiss, fights in the rain, making out, the joy of just being with the person you love. The day I proposed to her, the first time, and now, today. And I'm sure there's many more to come. Here's to making new memories together, Kat. I love you. So that's Find Love and Die or Die Trying. And I love this game so much. It's so good. I mean, I know this is gonna sound like, the bare minimum for a game, but it just works so well. I just really, really, really like this game. And, I'll go without... I went for a while without playing it, but it still is incredibly impactful to come back to. And so, it's so good. And, I mean, I could, because I happen to have one of the other times I played, I saved right here, so I could actually show off all of the endings. But I don't think I want to, because I like having only the one the one canonical ending for my playthrough of it. And you can't... Playing through the game yourself is fun. Admittedly, most of the choices matter less than you think. And there are things that you can do that I did not do along the way. Most notably, there's a couple of stuff you can do, but none of it's a good idea, so don't. I mean, no, that's not true. Some of it is definitely a good idea, or at least could be a good idea, would get you a different ending. But, yeah, I don't know. Anytime I finish a game on this channel, I'm always like, aw man, I don't know what to say. 'Cause, I mean, for the most part, if I play a game to completion, it's because it's a game that I really enjoy playing. And so it then makes it harder to say something about it because I have fun with it. And yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed this series. And if you want to check out the game for yourself, it's free on Steam, though there is expanded content for DLC that costs dollars. But yeah, it's a good time. And that's it. That's the game. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you had fun. And I'll see you for whatever's next.